Today we are going to study about language as a tool of communication. It is a well-established fact that effective communication is made possible with the help of language. When you try to define a language, the first thing that comes to mind is words. Language employs a combination of words to communicate ideas in a meaningful way. See, by changing the word order in a sentence, you can change its meaning and even make it meaningless also. So when language first came into being, a community of people agreed to represent a certain object or ideas by a specific sound or symbol. Thus, language is directly dependent on people and cannot exist in isolation. This is the main important point that we need to understand, that it is dependent on people and cannot exist in isolation, because we relate uh, words with the symbols, with the sounds. Then it arose out of human need to communicate. Primitive man communicated only with sign language and cries. Much later, as human beings become more interdependent and complex, language came into being. So, language undergoes a continuous, though unnoticed, process of growth and change. Now, according to our eminent linguists, Chomsky and Ferdinand, language has certain characteristics, like it is an artificial, restricted, abstract, arbitrary, creative, redundant, recursive, and we'll study it one by one. Language is artificial, it means it is created by people. It doesn't exist in isolation or outside the mind of people. So it is created by human as they need it. Every symbol is attached to a particular thought or things called referent. Example, the meaning of nice has changed over hundreds of years. Today, nice is used to describe something good. Its Latin root is means ignorant, and in the 13th century English it came to mean foolish. So see how the word nice, nowadays we have a positive connotation uh, of this word nice, but in the 13th century, and it's taken from a Latin word, in that way it has a negative connotation. So with the, that's why we say that it is an artificial and it is created by a human being. It changes. Then language is restricted, so no symbol of words can transmit the exact reality. That's one of the, like one of the reasons sometimes find yourself saying that you cannot find words to express your feelings. This is because language is restricted. Then language is abstract, means it represents the generalized idea of things or thoughts. The idea which words represent is different every time. Like if we say dress, dress can be a frock or a sari. So this is basically an abstract. It's not giving a concrete idea of that. So abstractness is an important feature of language. It is this that makes all generalization possible. Next, language is arbitrary. It means there is no logical connection between a word and the idea or the object it represents. People speaking a particular language accept the fact that certain symbols or sounds will represent a particular thing. Example, a table could have been called by any other name, but these people speaking English accepted that a piece of furniture with four legs and a wooden plank used for keeping things is called, will be called table. So this is how there is no logical connection. They have created, people, they have created an image and they feel that any furniture which is having a four legs and is having a wooden plank and which is used to keep things, like we used to keep your um, items on that particular plank, we call it a table. So it's, there is no direct relationship between a word and an object. That is why we call languages arbitrary. English we call a certain small animal a dog, and Swedish it is a hunt, and in Estonian it is a queer. So it means the people, they gave a different name, they different the name to the animals or any idea, but there is no logical connection between the word and the idea. That is why the language is arbitrary. Language has evolved as a cultural system of agreement and is a part of learning the language. Next, the language is creative. Why, yes, language is indeed very creative. Every year, Innumerable words are added to the dictionary, and these words can be added by different process. There are different process through which we make a number of words, and those words are added into the dictionary. So first one is compounding. It means when two free morphemes are joined together to make new word, the result is called compound word. The most common way of compounding is to join noun with a noun, like we have a toothbrush, car park, tablecloth. Next is your affixation. We have prefixes and suffixes, which is the most common way of creating new words in English. We can do this easily in a very casual speech. Like in this resubmission, re is your prefix and respectable in respectable, able is your suffix. So we have created two. Submission is a root word, respect is a root word. So we have given a prefix and suffix, and we have created a new word. Next is clipping. Clipping is basically when you reduce the longer form to the smaller form, like you reduce the syllable. So it's very simple process of forming a new word by clipping off parts of an existing word. You have a word flu, but the full word for this is influenza. We have clipped influenza and we get a new word, that is flu. Same way in the another example, the word is examination, and we have clipped this portion of this word, and we get a new word, that is exam. So this is known as your clipping. Next method is your blending. Blending is when two words are together, we blend two words and we take few particular part of both the words. That becomes the blending. For example, in the motor and hotel, we have taken the first part of this word and the last part of this particular word, and we get a word motel. Then we have smoke plus fog. So we have taken this portion of this word and sorry, this portion of this word and this last portion of this word, and we get a word smoke. So this is known as a blending. We are blending two words and then we get a new word. Next is your acronym. Acronym, basically we take the initial letters of the words and we get a new word. Now we have an example is like acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and in short we call it AIDS. We have taken the initial of every word and we get a new word. Next is your laser. Laser again is an acronym, and it's the full form of this is light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. And when we use the acronyms and we use the one first letter of these words, it comes out with a new word. So this become a new word. So the next characteristic of a language is that language is repetitive. It means it has a tendency of redundancy. Redundancy means the repetition of certain words or phrases or an idea. So this may either improve or impede the effective communication. Impede means it obstruct the effective communication. So example, all of you meet together to see me in the afternoon at 3 p.m. You. So here what you're doing is you're using an excessive number of words to no purpose. If you leave out this, all of you, and afternoon, no confusion would arise. 3 p.m. This particular means you're talking about this particular time duration only. If we remove this, there is no harm. It is going to convey the same meaning. So grammatically it is correct, but this is giving unnecessary, like it is giving a kind of a repetition. So why? Because the language has this characteristic, because you can increase the length of a sentence by repeating the same thing, but the requirement of a technical communication is that you need to be very precise. We need to remove the redundancy from the sentences. So unnecessary words and ideas should be removed while writing or while speaking. Next is your language is recursive. Recursiveness is the characteristics of language which enables to generate any number of sentences using the same basic grammatical templates. It also allows to express any idea, thought, or feeling using the same finite vocabulary. Recursiveness implies that there is no limit to potential length of sentences. It means you have a same subject verb agreement, like you have the basic grammatical template. Okay, after subject you have a verb, and like subject, or you can have a phrase or clause. So we have a basic grammatical templates. By using those basic grammatical templates, you can increase the length of a sentence. So we cannot say ki only two words are going to make a particular sentence. No, we don't have any potential length of the sentences. Example: this man who is wearing a crumpled suit which he borrowed from me to wear to his interview, which was on Wednesday, which was the day it was raining. See how the length of a sentence is increase, like, is there, because language recursive, we are using the basic grammatical template and we have increased the length of the sentence. So I hope you all like the session. Thank you all of you. Like, share and subscribe the channel. For any query you can contact via email, that is bytes@gmail.com.